All right. I hope that everybody is doing fantastic right now. My name is Jose Trujillo. Those of you who don't know me should know me. No, it's my fault. It's my fault that you guys don't know me. My name is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist, and I'm going to do a video here for you guys on a ballerina. Ballerina. Okay, this is a masonite board that is being gessoed, and let's do this. Let's operate. Okay, I'm gonna start by doing just a simple silhouette. That way I can plan out my ballerina, of course, right? Why the ballerina? Why not, right? It's such a beautiful, imagery. There's something very cool about it that many artists continue to. I think it's just a very dramatic expression of the female body, right? It's very dramatic. Let me do it with my pencil. I feel like it calls more for my pencil. Calls more for my pencil, definitely. Many times when you feel stuck, guys, if you feel in a place where you feel like things aren't working out for you or whatever, a good exercise to do is to just try to move. Okay. See what I'm doing here? It's just a constant. It's just a moving. Okay. Of course, my work is different. My work is more expressionist. But nevertheless, I'm sure that if you were just to start moving, you'd find your groove as well. So here we go. Another thing that I found out also, here's another thing for those of you who are experiencing certain maybe pushback from your artistic what do you call it? Inspirations. Okay, from your artistic inspirations. If you experience pushback, it's for me it's been this, okay? You don't want to do it. If you experience pushback, it's because you don't want to do it. And it doesn't mean that you don't think you should do it. It doesn't mean that you're not committed to do it. It doesn't mean that you don't want to do it. You're not paying attention. You're not focused. And when you're not focused, something has happened to the mind, right? Maybe you don't think you have enough time. Maybe the whole idea of time is bugging you. You know, you have to finish the work, or you only have so much time, or there's something else playing in your mind that doesn't allow you to focus, because it really has to do a lot with focus. I believe that painting, especially the type of painting that I do, and all painting, but I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for my experiences. Right? I believe that painting has to do with attention. And many times when we experience certain things in our uh, inspiration, right? The inspiration is not there, or you feel like something is going on. Many times what it means is that your attention is out the window. I think, as a matter of fact, I think that that is really all that is happening. It's expressed in different ways. It's expressed in all of it is fear, but really, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be there. That's really what's happening. You don't want to be there. So some people are like, go take a walk and this and that. Sure, why not? I'm sure that that has helped people. For me, what really has helped is not going and taking a break. Although sometimes I do need a break. I really do need a break. But it's not from not wanting to do it. It's sometimes you're just tired, right? But you got to be able to know if you're tired or you're just making it up and you're really procrastinating, right? That's something else that you need to investigate. But what I have found is that as I'm creating artwork, you're either trying to go too fast or you're trying to go too slow, right? And that is because there is no tension. So you're not really enjoying it, is really what it is. You're not really enjoying it. You can't enjoy it, of course, because you're not there, right? You're physically there, but your mind is somewhere else. And another thing is that you are also wanting to do the work, but it's more out of I need to do the work, right? So what happens is that you start becoming impatient, and the impatience is really the source of, I believe it's the reason why that happens. I believe it's the impatience is the reason for feeling that way. There's an impatience happening. Yeah, it's not. You feel like you have to move faster, and that's why people go, man, I don't know what's going on. You know, people start going like that. It's because you're trying to skip it. You're trying to skip the process. Every time you try to skip the process, it's because you feel there's a lack of time. Which is not true, of course. It's invented by the mind, but we don't know that, right? So we assume that the mind is right because, whatever reason. We don't know that. I mean, our true self doesn't know that. So how do you fix it? Well, there's a couple of ways that have worked for me, but one of the main ways is I really just go into it like this. Look, I don't lift the brush. I don't allow myself to lift the brush. There's a couple of little things that I do. I don't allow myself to lift the brush, and I keep moving. Right? Whatever it is, I keep moving because I know that, and this doesn't mean that you keep moving quick. It means that you just keep moving one after another. You don't pause to think. See what I'm doing? I'm not pausing to think. I just pause to get paint, but I don't really think about it. And then I go at it again. And then I don't really allow the brush to come off the surface unless I need paint. What this does is that this forces, in a way, that's just it doesn't force, but it puts you in a situation, let's call it that. It's not forceful. Where now you have to pay attention. See, I believe that all the cures of procrastination and not feeling inspired, I call it procrastination. Many people don't like it. They get offended when I say that, but really that's what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. It's procrastination. For whatever reason. Because you don't trust yourself, you're afraid, you're upset, blah, 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 blah. You are pushing the task. You don't want to do the task. So I believe that the whole problem is because we don't want to be there. We don't want to be there. Duh, right? What do you do if you need to be there? Right? I mean, if you just do it for hobby, then you have the luxury to be like, well, I'm not feeling it today. That's great. But if this is your job, not your job, but your business, or your commitment, maybe it's not your job. Maybe you're not trying to get monetized. You're not trying to monetize out of it, but it is your commitment to yourself, right? What do you do? How can you show up? How can you snap out of it? Again, I believe that the whole thing is attention. And the mind doesn't want to be there, so it skips it. It's kind of like everything else, you know. You don't want to be there, so you're upset. What happens? You drive really fast, right? Reckless. If you're angry, not afraid, but if you're angry, you're not gonna drive slow. You need to get there now. You're angry, right? It's not because they're trying to be reckless. Maybe there's something to do with that, but it's really because time is fight. You have a fight. The psychological self, the ego, let's call it that, has a fight with time. It is fighting time. And then therefore attention has left out the room. Attention is your most valued prize. Attention is the holy grail. Imagine an artist without attention. Doesn't matter if your gig is fast like me or abstract or whatever your thing is. Attention is the thing that will either make you or break you in this deal. Nothing happens without it. And if it leaves the room, also your joy leaves the room. If attention leaves the room, everything else leaves the room. All of a sudden you feel a discomfort. You feel something, you don't know why. You feel something, you feel a bit of a discomfort, something's happening and you can't really place your finger at it. So you go, maybe your days go by and you're like, what's going on? I don't feel it. I feel like you may even have feelings that you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know how to paint. Extreme doubts. Van Gogh used to talk about them. He used to say, when your mind tells you that you're not good enough, right? Something like that. He's like, just keep painting, right? And it'll go away. That voice will go away. He's talking about that. The fear. Attention goes out the window. Fear comes in. Attention is the thing you wanna take care of. Attention is the thing that all artists, I believe, left and right, all artists want to take care of. Attention is a thing that you don't want to leave the table. Everything else can leave. You know, your style can leave, your I don't know. I'll be fine with only working with 2-3 colors. You know, maybe you don't have the right colors right now for whatever reason. Your palette's not on point. Your whatever, something, right? There's always something, right? The canvas is crooked. I don't know. Anything. I'll do with all of that. I'm fine. That's why I love Picasso's saying when he says, if I don't have one color, I'll use another. I think he was talking about blue and red. Really, the thing is that I'll be fine without it. I'll be fine without my style. I'll be fine without my rhythm. I'll be fine without... Maybe yesterday you did something and you don't know how to repeat it today. Maybe yesterday you did something really cool. You know? I know about this, guys, because I paint daily. So this is the kind of stuff that presses me as well. I'll be fine with all of that, without all of that. I don't care. As long as attention doesn't leave the table, doesn't leave the room, I'll be fine. I don't mind losing that. I don't mind losing the style. I don't mind losing the right color. The oh man, yesterday I did something really cool and I can't repeat it today. F it. I don't care. Attention is a prize. Because with attention, everything else comes. Where there's attention, there's art. Art itself is attention. You're really. Many artists don't know this. I think because they haven't. Maybe they know this, but they don't know how to put it in words. Your whole deal is observing, and observation. It's not of the mind, it's attention. It's looking. You go deep into the painting. You go deep. And you're there and you rest here, right? And then, I don't know why, guys. Who knows why? I didn't come up with this. This is just the way things are. Right? As you're there with it, the gods, call it that. Call it God. Call it whatever you want to call it. Start rewarding you. You start becoming rewarded. Once you enter the place where attention is, you start becoming rewarded. And you get rewarded with so many gifts. Picasso called it inspiration, right? That's why he said I believe in inspiration, or inspiration does exist, but it has to find you working. Because only in working, whether you do it fast or you do it slow, I know some of you like how I do it. Do it however you can. Don't try to do it like me. Do it however you can, but do it. And you're going to start receiving the gift of that only attention can give. And that gift is many things. That gift is many things. That gift is, as I mentioned to you guys, that gift is a bunch of things. It's peace. It's joy. It's enthusiasm, really. It's enthusiasm. But by God, if you lose it, do everything you can to go get it. Now I understand why that parable of the in the Bible, I think Jesus was talking about a parable of the sheep. One gets lost, right? You'll leave all of the other 99 to go find it. That's what I believe attention is. Attention is that sheep. Leave everything else. What I mean by that is make it your point to find attention. And the way to find attention is to get deep into what you're doing. To pay deep attention. And you might not get it right off the bat. It might not come to you right off the bat because it's very sincere. Maybe it's a word. I don't know if that's a word. It won't come to you if you are desperate. It will come to you if you accept the present moment. It will come to you if you accept this moment. If you're okay with this moment, if you're okay with not being a great artist or not feeling it, and then you're like, okay. And then, see, really it's anxiousness. That's really what it is. When attention is gone, anxiousness comes in. I believe that's why I think that Jesus was talking to his disciples and we're like, why are you guys so worried about tomorrow? Why are you guys so anxious, in other words, right? Because he could sense that, right? He could sense that his disciples, these guys, or whoever he was saying that to, I don't exactly remember. But he mentioned about being anxious, right? Why are you so anxious? Because there's no tension. No tension equals anxiousness. Something's missing. Right? No tension, something's missing. There's something that is missing, and you can't put your finger on it. You can't put your finger on it. We say, oh man, I'm not feeling it today. I spent weeks saying that to my wife. I'm not feeling it today. It wasn't that. It's just that I didn't want to do what I was doing. Because you don't want to do it because you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you can't do it. As much as you want to, you will not be able to do it. Because the attention has left the room. If the attention leaves the room, the enthusiasm leaves the room, and then therefore you're not doing anything anymore. Does this mean that you always have to be enthusiastic every time you work? I believe so. I believe you have to, and if you're not, then your job should be to go look for that attention. And that comes through patience. I believe only patience gives that. And I know I talk about patience, and I talk about how when people tell you to be patient, don't listen. I'm talking about a different patience. Okay? A different type of patience. When I talk about in the other videos, those of you who have seen my other videos, when I talk about patience, I'm talking about moving with your hands, but having faith, right? Having patience that it will occur, it will happen, you will get there. It's the same thing. To be able to find attention, keep moving, and go deep into the artwork. This might mean that you start slow, you start trusting it, right? And then you'll know what to do, what the next thing. See, what happens is that it starts telling you what the next step is. And that's precisely what we lose when we lose attention. We lose the next step. So trust goes to hell, right? We lose trust because we don't know what the next step is. And it's only through attention that you realize what the next step is. It's a gift. It's really a gift. You are granted a gift because you've taken the moment to pay attention. Now you're giving the gift. You're giving the gift of whatever that gift is, right? You start receiving the gifts. You start receiving the gifts. The gifts might be spontaneous. You're spontaneous. It might look that your work looks silly, but it's not. Like one of my favorite books, The Tao says artwork does not look, true art does not look like art, something like that. Because if it just looked like art, anyone could recognize it, and not everyone can recognize true art. And I'm not saying that this is for the elite or anything. No, it's only the pure of heart, right? The pure of heart are the only ones who enter. And when you're pure of heart, it means that you have left the realm of judgment. I know this is some different stuff. Maybe, I don't know if you guys heard me discuss that. But in the mind, we have this judgment that is constantly occurring, and it's a reality of judgment, where we are constantly telling ourselves that we're not good enough or that others are not good enough. So we cannot see the beauty in things, right? It's difficult to see the beauty in things. That is one of the reasons why we treat other people like shit, right? Or other people treat us like shit sometimes, because we cannot see the beauty. It's impossible. You don't have the right goggles to see it. You are looking at it from a point of view, from a distorted point of view. This does not mean that you cannot see when something is well made or not. Yes. But it also means that you are able to see beyond. You have special goggles. You're able to see beyond mental constructs, names, styles. You are granted special goggles. And therefore you are not judgmental. And that is the gift of gifts. To go through life without passing judgment. As the great master said it. To go without judgment. It is the place, the highest realm, I believe, is the non-judgment realm. And I believe that artists, we touch that when we're creating artwork. I believe we touch it. That's why it looks like we're addicted to creating art, but we're not addicted to creating art. We love touching that. When we paint and we trust, we pass, we jump judgment. You have to be audacious to create art, right? You don't have to be audacious to copy something or to mimic something. You're following a paint by numbers. You don't have to be audacious. Then maybe again, depends, right? If you're Chuck Close, I think you have to be audacious, even though it looks like paint by numbers. It's not, right? It's extremely loose, and it's high end work. But that is the gift. The gift is that, you're creating artwork. You are really you're being given the gift that very few people possess. Sadly, it's available to everybody. It's available to everybody. The gift of non-judgment because if there's no judgment, there's peace. That's why, right? There's no judgment, there's peace. There's nothing to name. There's nothing to run away from. There's nothing to hide from. There's nothing. And I'm not talking about physical. Physical there might be, but mentally, there's nothing that threatens, right? Nothing threatens. If nothing threatens, then everything is fine, right? So you go beyond that. You go beyond the judgment. And as artists, I believe that we're blessed by having that. I believe that we have that. And everybody has that. But I think that that's one of the reasons why we love creating artwork, right? We love creating artwork because we get to touch that. We touch the eternal through art. We touch the eternal. Really, that's what's happening. Many artists are not aware of this, but maybe because they didn't spend their time, I don't know, going deep within themselves. Maybe they spend their time going deep within themselves, but maybe didn't think about putting words to that feeling. What is it that I'm feeling right now? Why is it that it feels so overwhelming when I create art and it feels so true? Right? What is it? What is that? I believe it's that place. This does not mean that all of a sudden you're going to start painting like Michelangelo. No, this means that you will start painting at peace. This does not mean that all of a sudden you're going to create masterpieces. No, it means that your channel, whatever and I mean channel as in your groove, whatever you worked in, whatever hours you put in your work, will start to reciprocate, right? It's ready for that painting to be born, right? It's ready for that. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden, oh man, yeah, I touched the eternal and therefore I'm going to summon the forces of Raphael and Michelangelo and the Ninja Turtles, and all of a sudden I'm going to paint like this. No, it just means that you've touched. You're able to tap into the hours that you worked. You cannot tap into the hours that you worked with your personal. You cannot always tap into that. You feel it when you tap into it. You cannot always tap into it, right? So you tap into it when you're in the zone. The zone is that place. It's just different names, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that we have different names for it. It's late at night. I hope I'm not confusing anyone with some of this stuff. I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure that most of you know what I'm talking about. You guys have felt it. But yeah, it's that thing that's available to you. You're able to tap it. Because even though you might be really good, there's those days that you don't feel that good, right? And those days are the lack of attention, right? Doesn't mean that again, it doesn't mean that, you guys know what I mean. Because some people tend to get it confused. They're like, oh, in my past life, like they start talking about, shit like that. Which, whatever, if you believe in it, by all means, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, because some people are like, in my past life, I used to be Michelangelo, I used to be one of the Ninja Turtles, or whatever. And then we cried. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. I'm not going to discredit it. I'm just saying, like, why focus on all these stories, right? Why not focus on now? What is available right now? What's available right now? This is available right now. This. So when you tap into that, however many hours you've worked, however much time you've dedicated to your craft, will become accessible, right? You will have access to it. When that is not there, all of those hours that you've worked and all of that knowledge and all of that intuition that you've developed will not be available, and that's why it feels like, this is my personal experience, guys. This is not the gospel truth, okay? But I'm just expressing my experiences. That's why it doesn't feel like how even to pick up a brush. When you try doing it, if you've done it enough. I know some people are like, man, I paint better when I'm angry. I don't know, whatever. Maybe you're not angry. Maybe you're enthusiastic and you think you're angry. But for me, I have to be enthusiastic. In God is what the word means. In God. Right? Deus. In Deus. And that's what you are. You are in the eternal present. And that's why shit works for you. You're in that place where every artist ought to be. But our minds like to play tricks on us sometimes. And we think